Yeah, I think so. I think on the balance of the whole game, I think, as you say, the least we deserved. I thought first half in real control of the game. Our press was real good in how they tried to play. I just looked at the thing. I think Collins only had one shot from about 25 yards to save properly in the whole game. So delighted with the lads because response after losing 2 games, we wanted to come here and be ourselves, and I thought we were. And they're in great form, but we've come here and they've had to change shape a couple of times to cope with us. So pleased with the lads in terms of the instructions that we wanted and carried out, and just disappointed we couldn't take all 3 because I felt we deserved it.
Yeah, and it was in the end we had to come from behind to get that point, but did that just sort of compound the frustration of what happened a minute before, where it looks like there's a big claim for a handball and the referee's had a long look at it? Yeah,
listen, I think his linesman's probably got to help him out. I think Dallow's got across the front of the defender and's got a flick, and it looks like it's going towards goal. The defender's arms away, you can actually hear it. You could hear it, and everyone's reaction tells you. And listen, it's as blatant as you're going to get, and it's compounded, as you say, by going up the other end and them taking the lead. And sometimes that's when things are going your way. That's what happens. But listen, frustrated because I think Goody could probably have a penalty the first half where he's dragged down. It looks like Dallow's onside, and I think their fella's on the ground. When Gussie hits it, the defender's on the floor, and I don't know if the linesman's seen it, but he looks onside from what I've seen.
Yeah, in the end, it's only a point, and Bournemouth have made a good start to this season. I mean, do you take a lot of positives out of the performance because of it probably looked like it was a game that we could have won there? Yeah,
listen, I think we will do. We'll look it back, and we've got to take the positives from that, because obviously we'd lost a couple, and the reaction to losing games can be real disappointing. But we had to get the lads ready, and listen, I thought, as you say, it's the least we deserved coming here and against a team that in real good form and in a good side, and they moved the ball ever so well, but we coped with that, and I think we were the dominant team for the majority of the game.
Just finally, actually, I was going to say, you made the changes and it worked, and it obviously Walt's coming off the bench. Pleased to see that change come off.
Yeah, delighted. I think Goody does brilliantly, on the first contact, and I think it's Gus coming back. And listen, you're thinking if that don't go in, then you're going, it's not our night. And listen, we did say we did keep working hard, and the moments will go your way. It didn't feel like it would during the game, with the decisions, and I've got to say both sides. You're not sure what way it's going to go, and but delighted the response, and we're trying to win it there at the end as well, and all credit to the players for that.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Kevin, you're taking a point from Meadow Park and a 1-1 draw against Boreham. What are your thoughts at full time on that one?
Yeah, exactly as I was saying, we're disappointed not to pick up all 3. I think on the overall 90 minutes or 98 minutes of the game, I thought we were in real good control first half. I say forcing them to change shape, and had them on the back foot, and they were relying on counter-attacks for the majority. So pleased in terms of the performance, and I don't think the performance maybe got what it deserved, even though when you go behind, to come behind is important.
Yeah, like you said, in that very much right that first throughout the game, really, you're right on the front foot, really pushing them in. What on the pitch were those big improvements that you saw from the weekend?
Listen, I think we just in more control. We didn't listen. It happens in football where things go against you, and it's important they stayed calm and in control of themselves and kept playing the right way. And good control in the game. I thought we had it. We caused them real problems and we overloaded the wide areas, because I think they struggled to get pressure on us. So delighted with response. Not surprised in terms of the attitude of everyone. Football, things have gone out against us at Eastleigh, where there's moments in games, and the same Saturday when you concede 2 quick ones, it's it can be real frustrating, but it's important you keep your heads and keep doing the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned moments. Obviously, there was the one where the ball hit the net in the first half as well, ruled out for offside. I don't know if you had a chance to look at that one.
Yeah, I had a look at it. It looks like really tight, but there's a player on the floor from a challenge in the air, and Dallow, as a striker, does, whether it was going in or not, I don't know, but he's done the right thing putting it in the net, and it does look like when the ball's left Gussie's foot, he's onside.
And I mean, obviously, you conceded a goal in the second half, but the response was exactly what you wanted to see, and in part of that was also a big penalty shout as well. Yeah,
listen, as clear as you're going to get. It's the the defender's hands away from his body, the ball's heading towards goal, and if the referee can't see it, then the linesman's got to see it. I think you can generally tell by the reaction of people, and I think our players' all reaction was straight away handball. You could hear it, and I think our fans behind the goal, it was right in front of them as well, and I think their defenders were expecting it to be given. So listen, them things have got to start going our way sooner or later.
But you kept pushing and you did get that equaliser, Josh Walker getting on the scoreboard. You must have been pleased to see that resiliency side of showed it to get back level.
Yeah, exactly, and Josh in the right place at the right time to get it over the line, and this is at least we deserved, and I'm glad we got something at the end, and disappointed we couldn't take all 3 points.
Obviously in that goal, Josh Walker, the one finding it, how pleased were you for him to get himself on the scoreboard once again? Yeah,
of course, and that's where striker should be, right in the 6-yard box, and Goody's done brilliantly to keep it alive, and Gussie I think then back across, and I think the keeper's made a great save, so all credit to Josh for being in the right place at the right time.
Well, we mentioned it in the team news at the beginning. James Morton came in his first start since about mid-April as well. Are you pleased with what you saw from him today? Yeah, delighted. I thought he was excellent tonight. He gave us good control on the ball, and his range of passing, and made us calm, and it was, as you say, hasn't played for quite a while, and been unlucky not to play, but he's got his chance, and I thought he was excellent. Thinking about with the way that obviously Walker coming off the bench and Bridge having his role as well, Ollie Coker as well, you talked in your pre-match about how of your belief in the squad and how much competition there is in this squad, and I suppose the equaliser is a showing of that, would you say? Yeah, I think so, and it's important, we said in there that when you're not in the team, you've got to be ready for when your chance comes, and you've got to be fit, and you've got to do extra in training, and because the moments come and they make a huge difference for the team, and you will get thrown in at times, and you've got to be ready, and everyone's frustrated after the last couple of games, of course, but you don't need to overreact. Keep doing the right things, keep believing in the players, and we said that we've got to have belief in everyone, and we did that tonight, and I thought Hops led the line excellently. Dallow worked his socks off and had a couple of moments that you're waiting for it to open up as he was running through at the end, in the second half. So everyone played their part. Just a quick one as well. Gus Scott Morris obviously coming off that hip injury, just giving him a bit in the second half.
We'll have to have a look at it and get a scan on it just to see where it's at, and of course, and hopefully it's not too bad.
Lastly, 800 plus Southend fans making the trip to Meadow Park today. How much of a role did they have today? Yeah, of course, and especially attacking that end in the second half. The noise they made, and I know they frustrated the last couple of games, but you've got to stick with the team. One thing you do, they give everything to players, and I think that's something that our team has always done, and we've come to a team that in real good form, haven't lost here since the opening day, I believe, and we've shown that more than capable, and then some, I think.